It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance, and we're in the San Gabriel Valley today. We're joined by Lloyd Johnson. He is a councilman in the city of West Covina, and many cities your size, about 100,000 plus, have been faced with challenges with regard to how you elect your council members.
Yes, sir.
Today, not in the future,
No.
Today,
Yes.
How does West Covina elect its council members?
At large.
What does that mean?
That means that you have 5 council members, and the whole city votes for them, all 5 of them.
What are the advantages in your mind to at-large voting?
At-large voting, the big advantage for the residents is that they have 5 council members that they can contact. You know, if you try to contact one council member, he doesn't agree with you, you contact another one.
Right.
And that's what's the advantage of it. You have 5 council members that are responsible for the whole city, and all residents have 5 council members that they can talk to.
Now, there are some folks that believe that there is a countervailing disadvantage to that system. And they would argue a couple of things. One being that in a larger city like West Covina, if you don't have one person dedicated to an area, no area gets the attention it deserves. But more importantly, some folks believe that there's a disproportionate impact on candidates of color. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, you can look at it any way you want. We've had a few Latinos on our council. We've had Ben Wong, which is we've had, right now we have Tony Wu on there. We have James Tomer, who's Japanese descent.
Right, you've had
Fred Sykes,
of African-American descent.
African-American, you know, so we've had them all over the place.
But the view, though, is with regard to West Covina specifically, it is, I believe, at least a plurality Latino city, if not a majority.
They are the majority, 53%.
Majority. And right now, I believe there are no Latinos on the city council.
Let's look at it from the other side also, and I agree with you on that. It's not about, to me, it's not about the race which you're from.
Right.
It's about the quality of the person that wants to run.
And I think a lot of folks would argue such. Sure. But there are studies, there are reports that indicate that not everyone may be as benevolent, and that through U.S. Supreme Court rulings that individuals of color should have at least the chance to elect someone from their community, and that chance is diluted if there is at-large voting.
Yes, that's the argument. The argument is that folks of color can't raise the money to be able to support a big campaign.
So let's talk about the solution, at least for those that support change. We know that in many cities, they have moved to what's known as district elections.
Yes.
Let's take a large city like Los Angeles, for example.
Yes.
They have 15 districts.
Yes.
There are smaller cities. I think Anaheim recently moved to districts.
Yes,
I think
there
they
are
have
a few of them.
6, and maybe the mayor or whatever it may be.
In Whittier's districts.
Right,
There's
Whittier
quite a
moved to
few of them over.
districts. West Covina has been challenged.
Yes, they have.
And recently there was a vote
Yes,
in the West Covina City Council as to whether to move to districts.
Yes.
And what was that vote?
The vote was 3-2 in favor of it.
And you were in the majority.
Yes.
And what made you decide to vote in favor of moving to districts?
Well, first of all, Brad, we understand that we had 3 residents in the city of West Covina that filed a lawsuit saying that we was a racist city.
Did they use that terminology?
Well, they say, you know,
Right.
we're discriminating against people of color. So that's the same thing as saying that you're racist.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, that's
Okay.
you can use a different word, but that's what it was. So the lawyers, they got together, 5 different law firms to sue West Covina.
Right.
They want us to go to districts.
Why not fight?
Okay, the fight is that here it is. If they sued us now, I'd fight it, because the state, starting in January, put a cap on their lawsuit at $30,000. That's the most they could sue us for. But say if they sued us back in September, there's no cap on it. We could cost us anywhere from $4 to $6 million, win or lose, $4 to $6 million on it. And as a council member that took the responsibility to represent all of our residents, this is their tax dollars. I could not afford to take the chance of spending $4 to $6 million. And if you lost, the state, they mandate on it. So what happened? They're telling you.
And the reality is, I can't think of many cities that have won.
No, they haven't.
Yeah,
See,
I mean, the record suggests that the courts are pretty clear that a city, especially a city over 100,000, likely the court would rule move to districts. So before we talk about whether that will happen, I'll get there in a second. What's happening now? Let's presume we do move to districts in West Covina. Are you going to a commission to draw the lines? Is the city going to draw the lines? How's
here
it going to work?
We're putting in an RFP
Request for proposal.
for a consultant.
Ah,
Okay, and what happens, we pick a few consultants to do it, and the opposition, they can pick a consultant. We
see.
throw it in, and we pick the best one. But
you'll
we
vote
have,
on the as a council.
we have the opportunity of picking the consultant. We can take their consultant into consideration, but we don't have to pick the consultant.
Okay.
And this consultant will get together, they'll start drawing lines together with
Right.
plenty of input from the residents.
There will
also.
be community meetings?
Oh, plenty of 'em. I will not let this go through with it. Also, your council members' addresses were not even being considered.
Oh, right, because for all we know, you could be all clustered in the new District 1.
Or they could try to divide them, draw the lines between the two council members.
So
So
is
you'd
it
be in one
a-
district, you need to be in another district.
So is the line drawer permitted to consider where you live?
No.
They're not permitted to consider it.
Not even considered at all.
So how many districts will there be?
5.
5, and you'll still have a rotating
rotating
mayor?
mayor, yes.
You're not going to go to direct
No,
mayor?
because you'd
Why
have
not?
because what it is, you have to have 4 districts with an elected mayor.
And why not do that?
Well, when we first did it, the first time I voted on it, that's how I voted to do that. But I got so many calls from residents.
Well, they wanted a rotating mayor.
They said, you know what, you're eliminating the chance of a mayor being in our districts at one time. Because if you have one elected mayor, he's elected, right? He could
Right.
run for 4, 8, 12, you know, he could be there.
Interesting.
And each side of the city, this would never have a mayor in the city.
Interesting. It's not a complete done deal. Technically speaking, the voters can seek to overturn the city council decision.
No, they can't.
They can't?
No. They can run, the court would never accept that. See, the court told us, remember in 2009, we voted no districts.
But I thought that there's someone seeking to bring a referendum.
They want to do it, but the court would uphold our decision as a council
I see.
to stay with it.
So when can we expect the first election for West Covina City Council with districts?
2018.
So this is soon.
Yeah.
So this is basically the next cycle.
It's going to take us about a year to get it done.
Right. And you are now going to be running on even year elections?
Yes.
And that's a new development?
Yeah, because there's always on odd years. So what happens, every council member will get 1 year more. Instead of 4 years, we'll all be in there for 5 years for our first term.
A lot's happening. I mean, because that's a state law, which is requiring
Yes.
cities and jurisdictions to move to on-cycle elections.
Yes. And they can't shorten our term.
Right.
We can extend our term by a year, but we can't shorten it.
So what do you think in the end? What
Well,
do
you know,
think?
Brad, I'm willing to give it a chance.
Right.
I'm open-minded, but here's one other thing while we're talking about this. Some residents already know they're going to be upset because they only get to vote once every 4 years for a council member.
True.
Okay, now, so the opposite of that is that I say, you know what, we do it in 2018. You have 2 years to see how you like it.
Right.
Once they vote in 2018, no one over where I live will be able to vote in 2018 for a council member because the first 3 districts will be up. It'll be the other 3 members.
We'll come back and
Sure.
talk more about it. He is Lloyd Johnson. He is a councilman in the city of West Covina. I'm Brad Pomerance, and it's local edition. Right. So you already know which districts are going to be.